Declaration on Territorial Asylum, General Assembly Resolution 2312, 22, of the 14th of December 1967. The General Assembly, recalling its resolutions 1839, 17, of the 19th of December 1962, 2120, of the 20th of December 1965 and 2203, 21, of the 16th of December 1966 concerning a declaration on the right of asylum. Considering the work of codification to be undertaken by the International Law Commission in accordance with General Assembly Resolution 1414, of the 21st of November 1959, adopts the following declaration. The General Assembly, noting that the purposes proclaimed in the Charter of the United Nations are to maintain international peace and security, to develop friendly relations among all nations and to achieve international cooperation in solving international problems of an economic, social, cultural or humanitarian character and in promoting and encouraging respect for human rights and for fundamental freedoms for all without distinction as to race, sex, language or religion. Mindful of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which declares in Article 14 that, 1. Everyone has the right to seek and to enjoy in other countries asylum from persecution. 2. This right may not be invoked in the case of prosecutions genuinely arising from non-political crimes or from acts contrary to the purposes and principles of the United Nations. Recalling also Article 13, Paragraph 2, of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which states, everyone has the right to leave any country, including his own, and to return to his country. Recognizing that the grant of asylum by a state to persons entitled to invoke Article 14 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is a peaceful and humanitarian act and that, as such, it cannot be regarded as unfriendly by any other state. Recommends that, without prejudice to existing instruments dealing with asylum and the status of refugees and stateless persons, states should base themselves in their practices relating to territorial asylum on the following principles. Article 1. Asylum granted by a state, in the exercise of its sovereignty, to persons entitled to invoke Article 14 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, including persons struggling against colonialism, shall be respected by all other states. 2. The right to seek and to enjoy asylum may not be invoked by any person with respect to whom there are serious reasons for considering that he has committed a crime against peace, a war crime or a crime against humanity, as defined in the international instruments drawn up to make provision in respect of such crimes. 3. It shall rest with the state granting asylum to evaluate the grounds for the grant of asylum. Article 2, 1. The situation of persons referred to in Article 1, Paragraph 1, is without prejudice to the sovereignty of states and the purposes and principles of the United Nations, of concern to the international community. 2. Where a state finds difficulty in granting or continuing to grant asylum, states individually or jointly or through the United Nations shall consider, in a spirit of international solidarity, appropriate measures to lighten the burden on that state. Article 3, 1. No person referred to in Article 1, Paragraph 1, shall be subjected to measures such as rejection at the frontier or, if he has already entered the territory in which he seeks asylum, expulsion or compulsory return to any state where he may be subjected to persecution. 2. Exception may be made to the foregoing principle only for overriding reasons of national security or in order to safeguard the population, as in the case of a mass influx of persons. 3. Should a state decide in any case that exception to the principle stated in Paragraph 1 of this article would be justified, it shall consider the possibility of granting to the person concerned, under such conditions as it may deem appropriate, an opportunity, whether by way of provisional asylum or otherwise, of going to another state. Article 4 states granting asylum shall not permit persons who have received asylum to engage in activities contrary to the purposes and principles of the United Nations.